Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, these are my sort of thoughts on the match that happened yesterday. That ended Chelsea 4, Man City 4. I mean, for first of all, in the space of 1 week, Chelsea have had two game of the season contenders. Absolutely chaos matches, which basically have had everything you could ever want in a football match, even especially for neutrals. And considering Chelsea this entire season have had real issues scoring goals, the fact that we scored 8 goals in 2 games against Tottenham, I don't know, against 9 men, but still, and against City, 4 against City, which, by the way, is something that I don't think's happened in. I mean, they haven't conceded 3 or more goals in like 13, 14 months, which is just incredible when you think about it. So the fact that we've gone from not being able to score to just scoring for fun, basically, in the space of a few games, is great to see. And it's just a brilliant opportunity for us to continue building what we've been doing for the last few weeks. So, I mean, this match was chaos. But one thing I want to say is I was really, really impressed with how Chelsea essentially went out there and had no fear. They essentially took Man City on, and they were able to continually beat that City press. And once they could beat the City press, they created more and more chances as the match went on. So if we start from the beginning, from minute one, Chelsea went out there and you could just see they were going to play the exact same football they've been playing under Poch the entire time, which is attacking football, not really caring who your opposition is, and trying to score goals, as many as they could do, instead of this whole kind of defensive mindset that a lot of teams take when they play City, where you kind of put several men behind the ball and you hope you can maybe kind of get them on the counter attack or something like that. So as we go into it, City's first goal, penalty, it's not. It's not one. I mean, you have both Haaland and Cucurella both pulling each other's shirts. Haaland gets an advantage over Cucurella by pulling his shirt a bit more, and then Cucurella pulls his. I mean, and Haaland was never going to get the ball. And as soon as he realised this, he was never going to get the ball because Thiago Silva easily cleared it. He throws himself to the ground. Referee buys it. Penalty City. Poor decision, but anyway, after that goal, I was kind of worried that Chelsea were maybe going to fade away. But no, it was a complete opposite. As soon as kickoff went on again, we just carried on doing exactly what we did from the beginning. And then Reece James gets a free kick. Brilliant, brilliant free kick. Perfectly saved. Fair enough. Corner comes in, and this was brilliant. This was genius. I mean, you can see this is something they've been working on the training ground. If you look at kind of a shot before the corner's taken, a few Chelsea players are in the box, and the City players are marking them clearly, just so they know where everyone is. No one's focused on Thiago Silva, and that's simply because Thiago Silva is at the edge of the box, kind of using Disasi as a sort of shield in a way to kind of hide behind him just so no one sees him. As the corner is about to be taken, Disasi and Thiago Silva seem to move as a unit, and then all of a sudden you see Thiago Silva sprint, gets in front of Haaland, glancing header into the corner, outstanding, 1-1. All of a sudden it's game on, and that's just a brilliant piece of a tactical move that kind of Poch and the whole team clearly been working on the training ground. Then comes to 2-1 Chelsea, and it's funny enough, it's Sterling, who I thought was man of the match, and I still have no idea what he's done to not get an England call up. But anyway, Sterling scored probably one of his most stereotypical goals he would score for City, where he just comes in at the back post, tap in, easy. But it all comes from Chelsea again, beating that press, getting the ball to Reece James, down on the side. Reece James then crosses the ball in the box. And again, it's not great defending, but then it's an easy tap in for Sterling. And I love the fact that he kind of ran off and almost celebrated and then just kind of stopped himself. It's great to see. And he scored just a stereotypical Sterling's goal for City, which is great that he did it against them. And then it kind of carries on going back and forth, back and forth. It gets to a point where Haaland gets the ball just outside the box, turns Thiago Silva, and then has a brilliant shot. And then Sanchez, who has understandably so come in for a lot of criticism over the last few weeks, but Sanchez made an absolutely phenomenal save, really from a really, really strong shot from Haaland, straight down to his left-hand side, uses palm of his hand, perfect save. And again, ironically enough, we conceded 4 goals in the game, and not a single one of those goals can be blamed on the goalkeeper, which is always good to see. Then it goes to right at the end of the first half, and obviously the whole cliche of you never want to concede right before half-time and also right after half-time, which of course we did as well. But with this one, it's City have a corner. And Chelsea set up for the corner fine. Everyone's marking who they're meant to mark. And then City do a short corner to Bernardo Silva. And all of a sudden you see several Chelsea players, including the person who's meant to be marking Akanji, which is Enzo, running out towards the edge of the box. And that then leaves a gap between, I think it's between Reece and Thiago Silva, where Akanji is, because no one's marking him anymore. And City players are good enough to get a pinpoint accurate ball. So the ball comes back into the box, and then it's a very simple header. And it's a goal for City right at the end of the first half. And it was gutting because Chelsea were playing outstandingly. They were doing everything right. They were making City fear them. They were making City make mistakes. They were the better team out the two. And it was just typical City that they kind of found a way just to score. Then it kind of starts, second half starts, and I think it's within 90 seconds, Chelsea are down one end, and then all of a sudden the ball comes back to Haaland, and just our midfield were nowhere at that point. I think eventually the ball gets down to Alvarez, who then crosses the ball into the box, and Haaland just bundles it over. Haaland's just there, bundles it over, and it's 3-2, 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes into the second half. And it's one of those moments where you're like, oh, great. So all that good work, hard work, which the team had been doing beforehand, it just kind of just goes to waste as such, because all of a sudden you think City are probably just going to comfortably win this now. And it was incredible. Then all of a sudden Chelsea just carried on. They carried on with what they were doing before, which was beating that press, getting balls in behind, making sure our wingers like Sterling, Palmer, actually players like that were essentially one-on-one with each of the City defenders, and then they just took them on. And for one thing I do want to say is Sterling, I think I talked about him just a short minute ago, but he was absolutely outstanding. He was on one yesterday. He was doing everything phenomenally well. I think that's probably his best game he's had for us, and probably one of his best games over the last few years. He was taking on every single City player. It's as if he really felt like he had something to prove. Probably a combination of playing against City and it not ending that well, and the fact that Southgate, again, stupidly hasn't put him in the squad for the next few matches. But he even was embarrassing all these players. He embarrassed Walker a few times. I mean, got to a point where I think most of the time when you go down the City right-hand side, what you see with them is Walker's on his own, and City players don't really go over that way to help cover him, because they feel like if someone does beat Walker, he's got the pace to then get the ball back. So they kind of leave him on his own. However, because Sterling was playing so well and consistently taking him on, it all of a sudden meant that you had a few City players having to go around and kind of cover for Walker in case he got beaten, like he did a few times. That then opened up more space in the middle where those centre-backs normally would be, which then meant that we had more opportunities using players like Cole Palmer and Jackson, just to be able to get more space in behind and create more opportunities. So it was brilliant, and it's because Sterling played so well that helped us out. And then, all of a sudden, I think Palmer's the one who also really impressed me. And Palmer gets the ball eventually. We're still 3-2 down. Palmer gets the ball, and he just does a whole little slalom run through several City players. Absolutely incredible. Goes past players like Ruben Diaz, like they're not even there. And then it was just so unlucky that he clearly he was knocked a bit, just lost his balance, and his shot in the end was a good save from Edison, but it just, absolutely gutting, really, because that would have been a contender for goal of the season. It was that good. However, Chelsea eventually do get themselves back into it. So a few substitutions happen. We bring Mudryk on, and Mudryk, again, straight away has an impact. I mean, his direct running terrifies these City players. Eventually, the ball comes out to Conor Gallagher, who, why not? He's just another player who's improved so much under Poch. But he had a great shot, good save. I mean, it was a good save by Edison, but again, it came straight back into the middle of the goal, and then Jackson just there to score another goal. And now that is his fourth goal in 2 games, which is something I still find absolutely incredible, which is perfect. And then after that, I mean, it's anyone's game at this point. It's absolutely anyone's game. 3-3. Both teams are going for it. Neither team fearing this. And then Chelsea have such a massive opportunity. Again, on transition, we get the ball, we go forward. Sterling does everything right, passes the ball to Gusto just to his right hand side, and then he just it's one of those moments where if Reece James, I feel, was in that situation, Chelsea would have gone 4-3 up. As great as Gusto's been, he needs to work on his finishing. He really does. He gets the ball, he just tries to side foot it, but as he's doing that, he's leaning back just a little bit, so he ends up skying the ball. And it was a really unfortunate moment, and it was it was just absolutely gutting, really. Then I think it's like the 85th minute or so. All of a sudden, the 85th minute, and it was one of the most frustrating moments in the match. I think Kovacic has a shot which gets blocked, and then it goes back out to Rodri, and he just kicked the ball, and it was so frustrating because Thiago Silva just stretches out a leg to try and block it, and in doing so, he completely stops any chance Sanchez has from getting it. If you look at the trajectory of that ball, I feel Sanchez would save it, but in the second Thiago Silva puts a foot out and hits his foot, and it's not going to go wide. It's going to go straight into the corner. And it's one of those moments, I think Peter Schmeichel said this before, that nothing would annoy him more when he's in goal than a defender just sticking a leg out, because it just means that there's no chance for the goalkeeper. And there was no chance for the goalkeeper. And in the 85th minute, Rodri, I think everyone thought, okay, yeah, Rodri's probably got the winning goal now. And yeah, it was absolutely gutting. I thought kind of all the hard work, all that sort of energy, Chelsea playing the best game of the season for themselves, and we're going to lose it through an extreme amount of luck for City. Now, even though City obviously scored the 85th minute, and it was a really gutting moment, it was great to see that, again, Chelsea had no fear. They were still going for it. The players clearly still believed, and Pochettino also clearly still believed we could get something from this match. Obviously, we then have a real attacking substitution in Broja coming on, which is great to see him back up after another injury. And didn't he have a massive impact basically straight away? Ball goes into the box, control by Broja, then Diaz comes flying in, and obviously, it was pouring with rain yesterday, and that makes the pitch a lot more slippy. Makes when you're sliding into a tackle, you go a lot faster than you normally would, and you normally have less control when you're on the ground. I don't know why Ruben Diaz went flying in like that. He was stupid, but he completely takes out Broja, and it's an easy penalty decision. 91st minute, we get that penalty. It doesn't get taken until the 95th minute, because for the next few minutes, there's a whole sort of fight going on between some of the players. Jackson gets a yellow card. Grealish gets a yellow card as well. And there's a few others too. And obviously you have a few City players trying to scuff up the whole penalty box, which, happens all the time. I still don't like it, but it does happen. And it was just written in the stars, wasn't it? That right at the end of the match, to level it up in such a big game, you have Cole Palmer, or I think there's a lot of people call him now Cold Palmer, because he has ice in his veins. The guy does not fear any moment. He does not fear any big moment, and that is just incredible. This is a guy who who basically played at City for 15 years. His whole family is City fans. Loads of his mates are City fans. He knows these players so well. He also scored for them recently in the Charity Shield. And he essentially said at the end of the summer that he wanted to come to Chelsea because he wanted to be guaranteed he could play more. And he backed himself to be good enough to play for a big club on a regular basis. And it was a brilliant decision. And especially this whole week, you basically had Pep Guardiola saying that he doesn't regret selling anyone. Never regrets selling players. And then the fact that Sterling and Cole Palmer put out 10 out of 10 performances against him, incredible to see. So Palmer steps up, and it's one of those really nerve-wracking moments because clearly Ederson's probably played against him a lot in training and saved and let in a lot of penalties, so he knows him quite well. For Palmer in the 95th minute, just to essentially go to the top corner, it's so risky, but it just shows the sort of arrogance that he has and the belief he has in himself, which is exactly what you want to see in a young player, that he has that much belief in his own ability. And it was an incredible penalty. And it's a little celebration at the end, which basically just say, yeah, I can do this all the time. It's easy. And it's exciting to see because he is such a phenomenal player. And he's now, apparently from what I've heard today, Gotten an England call-up as well, which is thoroughly deserved. Good decision from Southgate, one of his only ever good decisions. Sterling also should be called up, but anyway. But no, I mean, Chelsea didn't deserve to lose that match. I still feel we should have won it, but I can go away. I can go into the international break with that real pride that this team are really beginning to develop, and that when we play against these attacking teams, and don't forget, our next few games are still against these attack-minded opposition in Newcastle and in Brighton. We're still going to get these spaces in behind their lines, which we've been getting against the last few opposition. We're still going to get these chances. We're still going to be able to play the same way. It's when we start playing against teams like Nottingham Forest again, that's when the real test in my eyes is going to show with this young squad. But no, my final thoughts are basically, it's wild how Poch seems to know how to play Pep. When Poch was at Tottenham, it was the same sort of situation. You had incredible games, end to end. Tottenham players and that Tottenham team would consistently get behind that City defence, just like Chelsea did. Would then play through that press, just like Chelsea did, and would have no fear. This is an exciting time for Chelsea, and I know they're still 10th, but they're technically 9 points off 5th, which in my eyes now, we can definitely do it. It's going to be very difficult, but again, we are only like 12 games into the season. We're still only a third of the way through. Still got plenty of time. We have no European football. We just had the League Cup and the FA Cup. But no, I really do think this team have a good opportunity now to really put on a bit of a run. And we've got players like Nkunku coming back, which I think will be brilliant when we play against these low block teams when you need to be able to take your chances. But no, it's an exciting time to be a Chelsea fan. And in a way, it's just a bit gutting that it's the international break now. So anyway, guys, thank you again for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you at the next one.